We think that selling out Staples Center is a really big milestone for esports in general and really helps add a lot of legitimacy to the exciting sort of growth that's been happening over the scene for the last several years. And it's a real privilege for us to be able to host an event here in Los Angeles, in the home of the Lakers and the LA Kings, where NBA Finals have been won and whatnot. And so it's going to be really exciting tomorrow to watch thousands of fans from all over the world descend on LA to cheer on their favorite teams and have millions of people watching online. So we're really, really excited about it.
Yeah, I think Staples does send a signal. There's always a lot of people that are on the fence about esports, kind of in the sponsorship community, and it's important that advertisers and the people that can kind of contribute to that ecosystem, that ultimately is the primary way that teams and players can sustain their economics, that they take esports seriously. And so I think this event helps that cause. But for us, it's not as much about that as it is just the kind of the awesomeness of watching esports in one of the world's best arenas, and that crowd is going to be just as fired up, if not more, than any sporting event that's been in there. And I think just personally for ourselves and just for esports fans, it's a really exciting feeling and energy in the room. Well, I think one of the team's goals was to really bring in the giant sponsors, the sponsors that sponsor the Olympics, that sponsor sort of the FIFA, the biggest events in sports, and bring them into the ecosystem. Because generally when that happens, all the other sponsors now have sort of a precedent and a case to be made that esports is sort of a viable pursuit. Because you can imagine the conversations that go on and at some of those companies around sort of explaining this to senior management what this esports thing is and why companies should be allocating resources to it. And it was important to us because we think it's really important to the ecosystem and the teams in terms of making sure that they're sort of financially viable and sustainable, and that esports can be a real profession for all the players that dedicate so much time to it.
So Coke's going to be involved in a really deep and authentic way in terms of helping to establish a challenger tier of semi-pro players that are going to be aspiring to make it into the LCS. So they're really going to be helping to build out that semi-pro tier with additional tournaments and competitions, and having teams that are aspiring to make it into the sort of the pro league. And so more details will come about this, but Coke's really going to be partnering with us to help craft a real league experience that will enable lots of other teams to participate in high-level competitive play with the hopes of making it into the LCS.
It's interesting. I think things like this event being at Staples and some of the symbolism there, and things like companies like Coca-Cola sort of signing in to support esports, those are good steps for esports to sort of grow and continue to evolve. But our goal isn't necessarily to try to bring esports to the mass market. I think esports should be centered around the people that are interested in games, that are interested in watching games as a sport, and our focus has really been primarily on serving that community, and I think that community is going to grow over time, and esports will become a bigger part of life as more generations grow up playing sports. But I don't think we should be under any illusion that esports in a couple years with some tweaks to production value are going to be something that you'll watch with your grandparents, in the living room.
So live streaming has had a huge impact on obviously the ability for millions of people to watch people play the game. So even before Riot had built spectator mode systems to facilitate people watching the game through the actual client, live streaming really helped provide that spectator mechanism to allow millions of people to watch. And so that was a phenomenal technological evolution that has really not only helped other people watch players be playing the game, but as well as create a financial ecosystem for players who are streaming content and who are creating content that people want to watch, have a viable career and to actually make money while they're doing it. And so that evolution has really helped push the spectating of esports forward, and is a really key part of the ecosystem.